Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR Today. Finally, Friday. It is October 1st. It's the 1st of October. Do you remember? Nope, it's October 1st. 2021, the man they call Meathead, the gentleman squire, the dapper dandy of the PWR family, Mr. Matthew Thomas.
Hey, good morning to you. Happy Friday. Happy October 1st. Happy fourth quarter of 2021 to you. Happy Halloween month. Let's see what else we got. I guess there's Columbus Day in the month of October.
Do you really celebrate Columbus Day?
It's a thing on the calendar, you know.
It's a thing on the calendar. The man killed, millions of people, but I mean,
not laughing about that. I'm just laughing about PWR and Columbus talk. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Committed genocide against I wouldn't say millions, it might have been hundreds of thousands, but all right, so it is
that's a heck of a start.
Yeah, it's Friday, October 1st. I want to talk about something a lot more positive, and it's our friends at Collar and Elbow. They got some new gear, right, Matthew?
They do, and I actually saw a new long sleeve support your local wrestler shirt yesterday, I believe, and that's.
Did you see the zip up without the strings?
Ooh, I don't know that I saw
Create
that.
a wrestler, CAW.
Oh, I don't think I did.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tubby Meathead isn't. There wasn't a size for him, but it goes up to a 2X.
Well, they've got they've got everything you need to stay warm. Because here's the thing, it's not comfortable being pretty, and I was perfectly fine with being chilled and wearing my collar and elbow gear. That's worth it if you're wearing your collar and elbow gear. But now you can wear your collar and elbow gear, look good, and stay warm. What more can you ask for? I'll tell you what more you can ask for. You can head on over to collarandelbowbrand.com, save you 10% on your new fall gear by entering promo code Linda K, LINDAKAY. And if you need something to grab some groceries, or even like we were talking about yesterday, if you need something to wear while you're cutting some umbilical cords, Collar and Elbow have got you covered.
Good grief. All right, let's talk about a little bit of wrestling news. Coming up, I believe it's this weekend, EC3, Ethan Carter III. He's got his Free the Narrative. I'm going to say it the way it's probably meant to be said, and then I'm going to say it the way he says it, okay? In the main event on his Freedom Narrative is formerly known as Braun Strowman, and I'm sure, right? EC3 has said, quote, he has to kill Braun Strowman. What is with the death and murder in wrestling in the last couple of weeks?
Does EC3 have to kill him, or does Adam have to kill Braun?
Adam has to kill Braun Strowman.
All right, so that's EC3's reference to murder. Then we also had Arn or Armed Anderson, apparently, as he's going by now. And then we had Goldberg
is
start
Armed
the week off.
Anderson yelling 187 on the cover.
Then we had Goldberg to start the week off, threatening murders. That's what you get in all your wrestling. We got it in WWE. We got it AEW. Don't think we saw it on NXT, although we might have to go back and watch that to verify that there was no.
They murdered my love for wrestling on that show.
Well, I take it back. It's a little bit more lighthearted, but I think we've been getting a little bit of that from Dexter Lumis recently. He did threaten. He showed his hatchet at the wedding.
He did. He probably murdered that booty too on his honeymoon. So it is what it is. But here's the thing. So Freedom Narrative, EC3 is running his own show, right? This Saturday night on Fight, it's Freedom Narrative 2, The Monster in All of Us. This is a quote. EC3 says, it's not really a main event. The narrative doesn't have main events. This is not a wrestling show per se. This is an experience. It is the final fight on the Free the Narrative feature, for sure. But by no means is it a wrestling match. By no means is there a paid audience in the arena or stadium. By no means is there a timekeeper or security. By no means is there anything, any authority in the ring. There's no referee. This is a fight, and the fight isn't just between myself and Adam Scherr. The fight is between Adam Scherr and the monster within him, quote, unquote. Did that make any sense?
No, and I think things like that are supposed to kind of talk you in the building or get you to press the buy button. That just confused me.
I wanted to throw in a joke. By no means does this make any sense. By no means, I wanted to throw that in there too, and it just kept on going. What quote? Whether you're friend or foe in the narrative, you fight because, again, the fight isn't against an opponent in the ring. The fight is against the person inside you, and Adam Scherr is going to go through an awakening right now. He's lost everything that's meant something to him. He's not only lost his cushy job as being a star in a corporate wrestling world, but he's also lost friends. You know what? Here, I'm going to give props to EC3. He made his own thing. Yeah. This is his.
Well, let me ask you this: how do you procure this product?
Fight TV. So he made his own thing, and you know what? All the credit in the world to him. I don't understand it. I'm confused as hell. But you know what? He's got a thing. You
know what? I'd like to see, Fight TV, I know has got it available, but that almost sounds worthwhile calling your local cable company and just, maybe pressing the customer service button and just reading that to them, telling them you want to purchase that, and then proceeding to read what you just read me. I think that would be, a worthwhile endeavor.
I think that would be an escalated call. That's what that would
be. No, I mean, that's there's a lot going on there, man. Yeah, I give him credit. It sounds like it's going to be a cinematic match of some sort. And yeah, I mean, I imagine I might investigate it and kind of see what the asking price on that is and kind of what the rest of the card looks like. There's nothing in what you read
There's not a
that
card
really piques my interest.
It's not a wrestling show per se.
You don't know what you're buying. It's like an assorted bag of goodies.
It's a mixed bag of nuts is what it is. All right. Impact Wrestling is apparently going to be announcing a new belt. I have read, and hopefully this isn't true, but they may have a internet belt. Kind of like Zack Ryder's got his belt. Remember, he was the internet champion. Yeah. Impact Wrestling may be going down that same path.
But what does that even mean?
Is it a belt that's defended? Who knows?
Yeah.
Because Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona has defended that belt and has lost it.
I think that's the next step in the evolution in professional wrestling, just to confuse the heck out of people.
Okay. Let's continue on. I've got a little bit more here. We're big fans of the WWE documentaries, right? We got the ones that were on A&E. We got the Icons series. We watched a bunch of them. Where is the Lex Luger one? Still not to be aired. Here's the story. WWE is reportedly shopping their documentaries to outside platforms. There's been a lot of speculation on the status of several of the WWE documentaries and when the company will resume airing new specials. This last Sunday, they did air a Broken Skull session with Seth Rollins, which I know that we promised to have that today. We're going to actually bring that to Monday morning, so it'll be Linda and myself breaking that down. But there is the Icons documentary on Lex Luger. There is a special on Vladimir the Superfan, and I mean there was either a special on the Nexus that was supposed to happen as well. Well, as of right now, my friends, they're trying to get somebody else to buy them and air them somewhere else.
We've seen a much different cadence with those documentaries since they've been on Peacock, haven't we? I don't feel like you get the documentaries.
Cadence is that they don't exist.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I mean, even the cool thing or the thing with the WWE documentaries, I mean, honestly, outside of that initial push when they were, trying to promote new content on the network, WWE used to go, I mean, their route with the documentaries used to be DVDs, and they would put a lot of effort, a lot of production into some really good
video
documentaries. Yeah. And I'm talking about the, more of the modern era where you're actually getting shoot interviews and
well, it was Coliseum video, wasn't it?
It was Coliseum video, but I'm talking, man, it was probably not until like mid 2000s until we started getting like, the Shawn Michaels and the Bret Hart, just the shoot documentaries and stuff. Although on
that
Peacock,
was RF video.
Okay. You've got some more. I mean, you've got like some mid 80 WWE pieces where you're still kind of kayfabe, with Steamboat and Hogan and everything. So those are interesting to kind of go back and watch. But no, I mean, that pace has definitely fallen off, which is a shame because, some of that stuff from that, mid 2000s on to 11, 12, you got one of my favorites was actually the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels sit down side by side interview. They did a really good job with that, which you can still find that on Peacock. But yeah, I want more of that kind of stuff from WWE.
Again, they act as if they're a company that is cash poor and they're just trying to sell off every asset they have.
Yeah, yeah. And you're talking about shopping it around. I mean, you've got your relationship with NBC, you've got your relationship with Fox. I mean, it's like it's interesting because you would think some of this would be streamlined, but it's like they're trying to get as many hands in the pot as they can.
That's some good shit. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Dynamite for tonight. Matthew, here's what's on the card for the show. A three-way match between Jade Cargill, Nyla Rose, and Thunder Rosa. Orange Cassidy will also be putting his hair up on the line against Jack Evans, who hasn't put up his hair. And the main event, Bryan Danielson taking on Nick Jackson. I feel like Danielson and Nick Jackson opens the show.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at, I think that's that or the Cassidy thing. I mean, those are probably going to bookend it. The women's match, I'm very intrigued by, but I feel like that might be middle of the night or middle of the show. But yeah, it's hard to tell with AEW. I will say one thing they consistently do, and I'm seeing in the last several weeks, if there's a title match on the show, that will consistently close the show, which I think that's the way that it should be, having that main event. And a lot of
that's
times,
why we're confused. None of these are for a title.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you're right on the Braun thing. So this was filmed after Dynamite this week, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And if you notice that too, a lot of times if there's something high energy with the Danielson or a Punk, that's going to kick it off because you're trying to get that shot in the arm back for the crowd.
Well, you're trying to also get that lead in from SmackDown going off the air.
And if it's a hair versus hair match, you might have some hair to clean up in the ring afterwards. So you might want to save that for last. Yeah.
All right. So that's what's going on Rampage tonight. Let's talk about the draft. Let's talk about the draft, huh?
The PWR draft. Matthew Thomas with the most victorious weekend last weekend with Extreme Rules is 310 points, I believe. I like talking about the draft, Meathead.
Yep. Do you want to talk about PWR draft? We'll talk about PWR draft. The accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe has it looking like this. In the lead, as it should be. The man they call Meathead, 1,885. In second place, Linda Kay, 1,635. And again, like creepy Grandpa Joe Biden, sniffing Linda's neck. So close at 1,620 points.
But see, I've got after the last pay-per-view, I'm trending. I've got the most upward momentum, Like if I'm going up.
Talk about winning weekends? Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Weekend number 1, Matthew, you were leading. You won WrestleMania Backlash weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Weekend number 2, Linda crushing it with 560 points. She had that weekend. Then weekend number 3 was Takeover in Your House, Matthew. Weekend 4 was the man they call Meathead. Weekend 5, Matthew. Weekend 6, Matthew.
Ooh.
Weekend 7 was Meathead. Weekend 8 was Meathead. Weekend 9 was Matthew. Here's the thing, though. You'd probably be farther along if you didn't keep moving your pieces in and out and costing yourself 25 points every time you did it.
It's like I look at it kind of like like a fee when you trade stocks. One of those. What do you call those fees? Not commission fees, but something like that. Yeah, I got a strategy. I got a strategy. Oh yeah. Every now and then I see a shiny new toy, and I got to go after that shiny new toy.
Gotcha. Well, the next pay-per-view for the PWR draft that qualifies as points is WWE's Crown Jewel, which will be on a Thursday afternoon on October 21st. AEW Full Gear, November 13th. That's a Saturday night. And Survivor Series, November 21st, the following Sunday. So let's keep in mind that anybody that shows up on WWE's Crown Jewel, that is a point qualifying pay-per-view.
And is it extra points because it's in international waters?
Nope. Not at all.
Okay.
It is not extra points, my friend. Let's talk about the draft. I have a question for you.
Yep.
Not only tonight are we going to get the return of Sasha Banks and Edge. Okay. They're going to show back up again tonight. They're returning, I guess. I mean, I don't know how you want me to promote it, right? What do you expect out of night 1 of the draft? Going into the draft, here's the champions. You've got the women's tag team champions, Rhea and Nikki ASH. You've got the men's tag team champions on SmackDown as the Usos. On Raw, it's the RK Bro, and there's talk that Randy Orton is injured.
Ooh.
The mid-card belts, the worker belts, I guess, if you will, if you hear Seth Rollins and Stone Cold talking about it, the Intercontinental Championship That belongs to the United States is Damian Priest. I cannot think of off the top of my head who the Intercontinental Champion is.
Oh, yeah, I see is Shinsuke.
Nakamura.
Yep.
Okay. Women's champions, Charlotte Flair on the Raw side, Becky Lynch on the SmackDown side. And again, like I said, the tag team champions, the heavyweight champion, Roman Reigns, he's the Universal Champion, and then Big E is the WWE Champion. Don't forget, the 24/7 champion is Reggie. Now in NXT, Tommaso Ciampa, the men's, Raquel Gonzalez, the women's, North American Champion Isaiah Swerve Scott, their tag team champions on the men's, MSK on the women's, Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. Roderick Strong is the Cruiserweight Champion. Matthew, what do you expect to happen in night one? Does SmackDown and/or Raw dip into the NXT pool?
I think you're going to
see. Or do they even dip into the WWE NXT UK pool?
Yeah, not without question. I think what you're going to see, I think it's a night one move because it's impactful, and I think that you can book your next. You can probably book the rest of your 2021 pay-per-view calendar with it. I think Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Business need to go to SmackDown. That gives us that.
Can they draft all four at the same time? This isn't a PWR draft.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible that, they can make the rules, man. You can just straight up say the Hurt Business, or maybe you do Bobby and then you do Cedric and Shelton. And I mean, MVP, I don't think you have to draft him because he's technically
MVP,
a manager.
I think is a valet. Yeah.
Yeah, advocate. But what that does, that gets us Hurt Business versus Roman and Usos at Survivor Series, because you've already got your stuff ready for Crown Jewel. That's the route you go for Survivor Series, and potentially you get Bobby and Roman at TLC or whatever they're doing in December. And I think that I think the return of the Hurt Business the other night. And I think one of the reasons you did not have the Hurt Business when fans started coming back was because they knew that the likelihood of them being able to get them and Bobby over as a heel when you had the cool Hurt Business in tow was not going to happen. So I think this is actually a gradual face turn for Lashley and the Hurt Business. And I think that's who you're going to have. That's going to be your big story going into close out the year on the SmackDown side of things. And anything else, man, is fair game.
Okay. Give me a name off of NXT that makes the climb.
I'd really like to see LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah. My concern with that,
let me talk to you.
My concern with that, though, Meathead, is they keep the formula that they kept on the inaugural show, where he, lost in the opening match to Braun Breaker, and then he lost because he's a guy. He is a freaking seasoned guy. Do
you think he's doing the job before he leaves?
Yeah, I mean, do the job to Odyssey. That's fine. Do the job to Odyssey next week. But he would already have been drafted, so like you lose a little bit of that shine there. That's my concern, is they don't pull the trigger on that and they just have him there as this polished guy who can get this other talent over. I would say if you had not changed Corbin's gimmick, Cameron Grimes coming up to the main roster to help Corbin rebound would be a good idea, but I don't. If he does
so
make
Cameron
the climb,
Grimes coming from NXT to say Raw would take him to the moon.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and honestly, another one, man, I can see going back and forth. I can actually see Bianca. Okay, so Becky, Bianca, and Sasha. I don't see that story lasting much longer. I think somebody moves brands, and I would like to see it be Bianca to kind of start that story on Raw.
See, Sasha has to be on TV to start promoting Mandalorian when it comes back.
Yeah.
Because that was part of what she was going for the last time.
And you would want her on what is now your A show with the most eyes on SmackDown. So have Sasha stay on SmackDown to work with Becky, and then have Bianca over on Raw, and maybe start a program with Charlotte or do something over there.
Okay. All right. So that's what we think for SmackDown so far. Here's what I think. I think that you're on, boy, oh boy, a Cameron Grimes or an LA Knight moving up to a Raw or a SmackDown brand. And there's no, we can't debate if Raw or SmackDown is the show because we don't know who else would be there for them to work with. So it doesn't make any sense. With
100%.
Tommaso Ciampa currently as the NXT champion, I know he didn't want to go up the last time.
Yeah.
Right? But what's stopping him from going up this time?
Yeah.
There's money to be made. I mean, and Tommaso, he's up there, right? Here's a run for him. If he wants to make a run, here's a chance to make a run.
Well, and look at his style, okay? And look at his style against Roman. Look at his style against Bobby. Look at his style against Big E, against any of your top guys, man. I mean, you've got some big bruising guys in that main event picture towards the top of your card on both brands now, and his style would match up wonderful with them. I'd like to see it. I don't know that it's going to happen, but man, I'd like to see it.
I think a wild card outside shot of a team also moving up from NXT, even though they fit the new rainbow spray paint neon colors, is MSK.
Yeah,
but they fit coming up. They're a young, energetic bunch that could go with the Usos, that could go with the Street Profits, right? They would match up with them perfectly.
And I'll tell you, I think that who you don't move, I think you got to keep Index and Gargano on there because honestly, I think
Roderick Strong as well. He does not belong on the main roster.
I think that storyline, the whole Index thing is part of the glue that's kind of holding NXT together right now. I mean, that's part of that entertainment that people tune in for.
Okay. Well, that is draft right now. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. Does anybody show up that's a surprise that hasn't been on the brand in a while? I mean, we've gotten a lot of people show up on AEW, on Dynamite and Rampage, but we really haven't had anybody show up on WWE. Do we have a surprise waiting for us?
I don't know who it would be.
Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
We're talking about Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me kind of lean into that too a little bit. Somebody that I had been clamoring for to come back in a wrestling capacity, but obviously he's doing such a great job in commentary. I would have no problem with a mix-up in the commentary teams and finding Wade Barrett making his way to one of the two main shows.
Oh, absolutely. And another name that has been teased to potentially come back that I think could be a great addition to WWE and is possible because of the tenure of the first run. But, I'd love to see a Paige return.
Okay. We got to see her work. We got to see her come back. It's time to, do something. Okay. We're going to call it here. We're going to talk to you guys on Monday morning. We'll talk about the Seth Rollins on Broken Skulls. We're also going to talk about what happened tonight on the draft and what happened on Rampage. Will Orange Cassidy be a skinned orange? Do you think his head is orange underneath the hair?
I don't know, but I think maybe he wins. And when it comes time to frickin' cut Jack Evans' hair, it's just a very Orange Cassidy level haircut, like he snips a couple pieces off and that's it.
Okay. Well, for Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call me, and for Linda Kay, who's, I believe, down in the Ville, as the kids call it, taking care of some OVW stuff. I'm the man they call me, and hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.